This is hashtag skills and I am Gugan. Do you have the slightest idea which came first, the chicken or the egg? This question has been pretty common in our daily lives. We could have heard it in our homes, with our friends, in our schools, or even in the movies. But most of it would have had it as a joke. But this is no joke. This is a casualty dilemma or a paradox. In philosophy, a paradox is a puzzling situation wherein the conclusion of one end of the question is condemned by the problem of the another. This paradox ages back to ancient Greek philosophy. Now, Plutarch was a Greek Middle Platonian philosopher who, in the 1st century AD, wrote an essay called the Symposiacs. In this essay, he proposed this question of chicken and egg paradox. He highlighted the question as a great and weighty problem. He proposed it as whether the world had a beginning or not. Paradox observes that all chickens hatch from eggs and all chicken eggs are laid by chickens. So let us face it, the chicken and egg paradox is a metaphorical representation to impose the cause and effect situation where it is not clear that which of the two events forms the cause and which the effect. It exposes a difficulty in sequencing the actions wherein both of the actions depend on each other's on being first. The question arises like, if it was the chicken first, it should have been hatched from an egg, and if it was the egg first, it should have been laid by a chicken. But Plutarch was not the first one to introduce the paradox. It belongs to the ancient fourth paradox introduced by Aristotle in 4th century BCE while he was referring about universe's origins. He considered it to be an infinite sequence with no true origin. Later, in the end of the 16th century, Christian enthusiasts regarded that the question can be answered with the origin story of the Holy Bible. While in the description of the origin of animals, the Bible allows to a theory that the first chicken was not laid by an egg and thus the chicken came first. But the later Enlightenment philosophers condemn the solution. Despite the fact that this paradox is a metaphorical representation, scientific research can give literal answers to this. By applying the principle of Charles Darwin's evolution theory, which considers that all the species evolved over time, it states that chickens' ancestors are not really chickens. It means that the ancestors of chickens would have laid eggs which are then evolved into chickens. Now, chickens have their descendants as red jungle fowls, or their biological name Gallus gallus. These red jungle fowls have evolved back 8,000 years ago. The chickens have in their uterus this ovocridin 17 or OC17, which causes the formation of calcium carbonate thickened layer as an eggshell around the egg. This thickened layer was not contained in the eggs of their ancestors, the red fowls. But over through these 8,000 years, it is clearly stated that these eggs have been evolved into modern chicken eggs which contain the thickened layer of calcium carbonate. So, it is clearly stated in the factual course that over the chicken egg has come first in evolution. But the mystery doesn't end here. It is true, from the Darwinian theory, it can be scientifically answered that the chicken egg came first even before chicken. It is evolution, but as a metaphorical representation, it would create more ambiguity. If this had to be answered, the origins of the universe had to be answered. This is not just a question about a chicken and an egg. Aristotle and Plutarch has imposed this as a question to study the origins of the universe and the cosmos. It can stand as a question to the origins of the world. It can stand as a question against the good and the evil. It can stand as a question to the mind and the soul, and it can also stand as a question to man and God. The chicken and egg paradox is a question that is answered and the answer that needs to be questioned. So, whenever you listen about the chicken and egg, you will remember about this paradox. Thank you.